Blanky time, it's almost time for Blanky time. Come along and take our hands, go into Blanky land.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to Blanky Time,
Blanky Time!
the most epic, insane, goofy, wacky experience imaginable.
Ah!
Just with 3 easy payments of
$69.99.
$19.99 or what was $25.99 or something. Like all the early 2000s commercials, everything was like $25.99,
Yeah, bro.
like something like
That's
that.
a magic number.
3, 2 is
I'm
a
going to
magic
reshift
number.
my chair real quick because this is
Yes, it is.
uncomfy.
It's a magic number. 3
Man, now we can share a blankie.
is a magic number.
How's that? Can you hear me good?
Yes,
Am I
it
good?
is. Yeah.
Good.
It's a magic number. Boom, 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 boom. Wicka, wicka, wicka.
We should release the Blanky Time album. That's what's up. Oh, man.
Well, Matt, I feel like I haven't seen you in
It's been a while. It's been at least
such a long time.
It's been at least a few days.
It's been a few days. Well, last episode, Sarah was on the podcast with me.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah, I think she did a much better job than me. So it's
Yeah, because you've definitely seen the episode.
I haven't seen it yet, but I already know.
For those of you who don't understand how movie magic works, today is when Men's Mental Health Part 2 is getting released,
Right.
which means next week is Sarah's episode,
Right.
which means the whatever week is that one right there.
The third week from now,
3rd week from now.
you'll be hearing this episode.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the 6th, 12th,
I don't
12th,
know, dude.
July 12th. July 12th.
I don't. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. You'll be hearing this on July 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, last
That's the second Little John reference.
last week we both had some coastal time.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Which is pretty dope.
We went down to the coast.
There
got
was
to hang for a
so many
minute.
jellyfish. Did you see the jellyfish?
Yeah. It's a thing.
There was
there.
Tons of cannonball or cabbage jellies hanging around. I caught one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had
just like-
some. When I took Nora out in the water, we had some around us, but they always wash up on the beach, man. Like
Yeah.
for every time we're down there, it's crazy.
It was funny because the day before we left, we went to the point
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
And right there is where the intercoastal waterway washes out to the ocean.
Right.
And there's just, it's really tidal down there. And there was just crap tons of jellies all along the end. And Sarah was like, we need to put them back. It's sad. I was like, this is how their life is. They don't feel anything. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, don't look down there. And like 15 feet ahead of us was just like even more like piled up.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, dude.
a freaking foot wide of jellies just like staggered all along the beach. It was
Yeah, we went
epic.
we went a few weeks ago before last week's trip, and dude, everywhere the whole beach was littered with them. Like the girls were terrified they were gonna step on one or something, but it was fun.
You don't got to worry about those. I don't think
No.
those kind really sting.
They don't know because we were playing with them this past week.
Well, I watched the thing because I started watching a new channel, YouTuber update.
YouTube.
Yeah, that. And it's best ever food review.
Oh
And
yeah.
This dude, I like his channel because he actually goes and he like eats traditional food and just goes amongst the people versus going to like super high end places or whatever.
Oh yeah. My dad-in-law was telling me about this.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
your dad-in-law?
Yeah, we've reached that point in our relationship.
Dad-in-law instead of
That's
father-in-law?
That's what I'm calling him now.
Dad-in-law?
Dad-in-law.
All right. Daddy-in-law?
Daddy-law.
Daddy-law?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if we're there yet. But
Okay,
it's,
that's the next level?
yeah, that's the next level. Yeah.
But anyways, he was like, I think in Korea or something, and there it's a thing to eat jellyfish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, there's an abundance of them here. I was like, let me look this up. So I look it up, and it's apparently a common thing for like Koreans that live in this area to go out and harvest them. And it's easy pickings. Like when we were on the pier, there was some that literally looked like bowling ball size.
You could eat for a month.
But there's only one part allegedly of the jellyfish you actually have to cut off. But like you can also eat like the kind of tentacle part as well.
Mm.
And then there's like a connective tissue in between that and the bell of the jelly. And that's what you get rid of, but you also eat the bell, and you like slice it up real thin like noodles and put some soy sauce or whatever and eat it like sashimi, or you can stir fry it or whatever.
I mean, I would be down to try that, but I feel like I would want to do it with the
Asians there.
No, with the jellyfish that's like immortal or whatever. So maybe
So
there'd be
keeps living in
some
your tummy.
transfer, and maybe I could
You
take
want to
on
like
the immortality. Yeah,
absorb the power.
you never know, man. Spider-Man. I mean, all it took was a bite from a radioactive spider. So
A radioactive jelly.
you know, if you can get a radioactive jellyfish that happens to live forever, dude. Teratopsis, I think that's his name.
Something like
I'm
that.
probably butchering that.
But the interesting thing I learned is jellyfish are one of the lowest calorie, high proteins you can eat.
Really?
Yeah. So if you and also listen here, vegans, this is for you, okay? Jellyfish, they say allegedly, don't feel anything.
What a sad life.
And as we know, plants feel a whole lot. So maybe y'all should start eating frickin' jellyfish and oysters and actually stop hurting living things.
Yikes. Yeah.
That's what I gotta say about
All
that.
right. Well, that's a strong take on the vegans. That's what's up. Well, dude, I'm stoked for today's show. I think we're gonna it's gonna be fun. We're gonna dive into an interesting topic. I think we're both pretty interested in. I think the people want to hear it, and we're here to give the people what they want. So,
And what are the people? Well, this is kind of in line with the immortal jellyfish because
yeah, I was trying to do a tie-in, but
it's a creepy thing that lives forever.
forever in our nightmares.
Some of these things may live forever that we're about to talk about.
We don't know. They
Yeah.
may not even be from this reality.
Oh,
If you want to
yeah,
get
that's
serious, we don't know. We don't know. And the thing we're going to be talking about today is that was a terrible drum roll.
Cryptids.
Cryptids.
Creepy, goofy boys wandering in the woods.
I do want
If
to
we
read
go out in the woods tonight.
the definition of cryptid, just so those listening that are unfamiliar.
Okay.
This is Webster.
Webster has that cryptids definition.
Miriam, his grandmother.
Merriam-Webster.
Merriam-Webster. This is how she defines cryptids.
Can you read it like her?
An animal such as a Sasquatch or the Loch Ness Monster that has been claimed to exist but never proven to exist. Contrary to popular belief, cryptids don't... I went a little Aussie there. Cryptids don't have to be supernatural, mythical, or even strange. Although many popular creatures acquire these characteristics as their legends grow. So, that classic definition of cryptid. It's a animal. Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman. Claimed to exist, never proven to exist. We have traces of evidence, but no real hard proof that they exist. So, Stone,
Yes.
When did your fascination with cryptids begin?
Well, as one who played in the woods a lot,
Oh.
it's kind of funny because, like, when you look at folklore across the nations and countries and stuff like that, a lot of European folklore is kind of just like, oh, there's gnomes and fairies, and sometimes they might steal your kids, but most of the time they're benevolent little creatures, blah 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 blah. And then North America's like, don't go into the woods,
Right.
don't go into the
Right.
woods.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
right.
it's freaking scary, dude. And so they're especially like in the Appalachian Mountains, there's a lot of folklore surrounding there, because you got a mix of Irish folklore and a mix of Native American folklore,
Yeah.
and kind of gets all melting pot together and stuff.
But I think there's something to that too. I mean, especially like where where we live, like Marion. You've been to Marion, I'm sure.
Who you marrying? Maybe. I don't
like
know.
Marion has like a national, like a Bigfoot day every year, and like the mayor will come out and they'll do this like big thing, like celebrating Bigfoot or whatever. It's kind of strange, but it's like right on the border of like Boone, like that area. But then with like the Native American folklore, even like where we're at, the Thunderbird is a big one that I've heard.
The Thunderbird?
The Thunderbird, yeah. Never heard of the Thunderbird. It's a pretty crazy story. There's claims that have, they've even shot some down as recent as like the 90s.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the Wendigo. It's another one.
Yeah, dude, those are the ones that scare me the most, because to get into like the Native American stuff or whatever, they even have like stories of giants, and also the cave people with the like really big eyes,
Yeah,
and stuff like that. That some people think it was like the Nephilim and all that jazz. I actually have a TikTok saved where a guy's talking about it. I could maybe play it after I talk about one of the other things I was going to talk about. But one of the Appalachian ones that is pretty interesting, because it actually, the lore of it has dictated Southern decoration.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find the name of it. But basically, this thing, was it a banshee? Was it just called an Appalachian banshee?
I can't remember what it was called. The Poplick Monster, is that what you're talking about? The goat man? Part man, part goat, part sheep? That's terrifying looking.
Sheep squatch?
We're gonna...
Why can't I find...
The Midwest is full of unknown, mysterious...
I can't find it, but I think they call it a banshee, because so in Irish folklore, a banshee is just like a she ghost that can haunt you and do stuff to you.
Don't they like scream like really loud, like
Yeah, they screech. If you ever want to see a banshee, watch the movie Patty O'Gill and the Little People, or whatever it is.
That's a terrifying name.
It's it's on Netflix, and it's a good watch. It's got a lot about Irish folklore. But coincidentally, because there was a lot of Irish folk up in the Appalachian Mountains, they also brought some of their folklore over there. And the banshees in Appalachia were said to come out at night, and they wanted to sneak into your house and steal your babies. And so... They believe...
Stay away from my babies.
That if they were able to distract the banshee somehow long enough until daylight,
Mm-hmm.
then the banshee would never get to the baby's room or their room and end up leaving. And so what they would do is sometimes they would get a handful of seed
Mm-hmm.
or grits and cast it out on the front porch. Sometimes they would put a broom over their passageways, so like over top of the doorway, and anywhere there was like a beam that led into another room, they would put a broom. Or they would put newspaper on the walls.
Mm.
And so this is like a common thing that people do now in like southern decoration and stuff like that. And it started from this because the idea was that the banshee would get distracted counting or reading said things.
Wow.
So like if there was seed on the porch or if there was like a broom, they would get distracted and want to count all the bristles on the broom.
Interesting.
And the idea would be there would be so many of them that it would distract them long enough until daylight, and then they would leave.
So, the moral of the story is banshees are like really interested with math and counting, and
Or the food columns of the
Yeah.
newspaper.
right.
You know, just can you imagine like getting up to get a snack and there's this like
It's just like counting
creature
the,
like
the
reading the
brooms.
newspaper and counting
Bro.
bristles.
That's terrifying though. But I get that. That's Now I wonder like where this comes from. Is there like any evidence or stories of like this actually happening, like people seeing them taking their baby, or
I mean, it's got to come from
it's
something.
got to come from something, right? No one just like sits in their room and makes these things up.
It's like the Brown Mountain Lights. Have you heard about those?
No,
You haven't heard about the Brown Mountain Lights?
I don't know. Maybe. I've heard about a lot of lights.
Okay, so no, these are like specter lights.
Oh, maybe I have. I
So
think I've seen the video.
these are very prevalent in the Linville Gorge.
Oh, I didn't know it was like close to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So in the Linville Gorge, this this phenomena has been happening
Phenomenal.
for a while. But basically, there's these weird blobs of light
Mm-hmm.
that show up in different spaces in the gorge and around, and they don't know exactly what causes them, but it happens frequently enough where it's recorded as being a real thing. For a while people didn't believe it was a thing,
Right.
but this is interesting. The earliest published references of the strange lights are from around 1910, at about the same time electric lighting was becoming widespread in the area, which is weird because it's in remote areas where it is. I don't exactly know what brown light looks like. Like, I've been backpacking twice in the Linville Gorge, and I've looked for them, and I never seen them.
Yeah.
But allegedly, it's a thing.
Interesting.
And it's just nobody. I don't know if anybody's ever like tried to like touch it or whatever, but it's not like
I suck you into an alternate
the way
dimension
it's
there.
described is like a big blob of light showing up.
Like
in
how
different spots.
big? Like human size, or like
I think
just
so.
like. So what you think it's ghost? Ooh.
I mean, it can be seen on like night vision cameras and stuff.
And experts are saying that what they just don't know what it is. They don't. What are the
Some
prevailing
some
theories?
say it's lost souls.
Lost souls.
Searching down in the bottom of the. There's a lot of like ghost stories in the mountains. Like, have you ever
yeah.
heard of Booger Mountain?
Yeah, I have.
I wasn't even going to talk about Booger Mountain, but now that we're on mountains,
Bring it up, buddy.
well, do you know?
I think you
Booger
should tell
Mountain?
the story.
Okay, so
Like-
I have family up in the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
and some of them know folk who lived on the side of Booger Mountain and have verified evidence that these things happened. Okay.
This is a very unfortunate name for a mountain.
Well, in the
So-
area, ghosts are called boogers.
Yeah.
It's like, that little booger over there stealing my stuff.
Booger.
So basically, Booger Mountain is this mountain that apparently there's a lot of frickin' ghosts that like to chill out up there.
All right.
But the people who lived near Booger Mountain and down at the base of Booger Mountain would find things missing in their home. And
Interesting.
they would be like, where the heck is my crud? Like hairbrushes. I think even sometimes things as large as like fridges and stuff. I'm not exactly sure about the fridges, but anything that could be picked up.
Right.
So like toys, dolls, kitchen implements, things of that nature
Okay.
would disappear, and then a couple days or weeks later,
Just like overnight, it would disappear. Like it would go missing.
yeah, it would just go
Okay.
missing. They'd have no idea what happened to it. And then
Huh.
a couple days or a couple weeks later, it would show up on the side of the mountain. I'm getting some chillage. It would show up on the side of the mountain, somewhere in a completely random location.
Yo, that's
Just like poof, nowhere to find it. They even knew this was a common thing and would search the mountain when stuff would go missing,
right.
and it wouldn't show up until days after.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what would a ghost want with your toaster?
Maybe it's a benevolent ghost that just wants to mess with people.
Interesting.
It got kicks out of taking people's stuff.
Yeah, or
He needed to borrow it.
there's just some homeless dude living out there. He's bored. He sneaks into people's house at night, takes everything.
Everybody's house?
Everybody's house.
That's impressive.
He's like, no one ever gives him $1 when he stands at the Walmart, and so this is his way to get back at him. I'll teach you.
Listen, Jack, I think that he would have eventually got shot.
Yeah, you're right. Especially if you got people waiting up because they know stuff's happening, and yeah, that's creepy.
I think
no, I
people
don't.
tried to do that and still stuff got
That
taken from
like, but that also makes me think of like it potentially being like the alternate dimension thing or something, because like a lot of people say like Bigfoot is
Oh, it's
more
like a
it's more
spiritual
of
thing.
like the paranormal side than the cryptid side. That like because like he's so rarely seen, but there's like so many people that have claimed to see him. And that the reason we can't ever get any like evidence is like somehow there's like this other dimension that he's from. It just sounds creepy that it goes missing in everyone's house but ends up in the same spot. So maybe there's something to do with that spot that's
Portal.
like a portal to like some other thing that's here but not here, you know? Like who knows? I mean, that's just interesting.
I mean, I know a guy. Why is he calling me?
Who you calling?
It's Father Travis. Should I answer him on the pod?
Hey Travi, you're on the pod.
Hey, Travis Kiker, you are on the pod.
Blanky times, I am on blanky times. What's up?
You're pretty
What's
close.
up?
What's
Yeah, that was
man?
good.
That's pretty good. Say hi, Matt.
Hi Matt. Hey, how's it going?
Brother?
Oh yeah, living the dream.
I didn't know I was messing up your recording. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you want me?
Well, we can talk later.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Back to your business, my friend.
Business.
Business. All right. Bye.
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 Good old Pappy Trav.
Happy Travis. Let's just go ahead and reset.
I love it.
Why do all the monsters come out at night? Why do they scream? Well, we want to hide. One back to you like I don't mind my life.
Dude, I love that. Is that? Why are you being so difficult, mate?
I think if you lower the tube,
Lower
and-
this tube right here.
yeah, and raise up the cable, you'll be
Yeah.
better off.
Okay. Sorry. Is that better?
So see how like I got mine bent up
Yeah,
and then over.
I had that over. That's where I was, but you know what? Lame-o. We're going with it. I'm just gonna do this. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't even care.
All right.
It's comfy.
So yeah, Booger Mountain.
Crazy. Yeah, that I don't know. That
Oh!
just kinda
I remember what I was gonna say.
okay.
So, my history teacher, when I was in high school, always said he's always kind of been surrounded by the supernatural. And when I first met him, I got like this. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but I have like a sensitivity to like spiritual things. I would say. If you don't believe into that, whatever.
Take it with a grain of salt. But hey,
Yes.
yeah.
When I first met him, I was like, "There's not something off with him, but there's something else
on with him.
Something on.
Something on him.
Something
maybe
on him." Anyways, he said that he's always had either quote unquote a guardian angel or just like a ghost buddy, that things would happen to him that he couldn't explain, and he always just blamed it on this ghost or whatever. But he said one time he was in a band at one point playing the drums,
as you are,
and they were practicing at home, and him and his bandmates were playing and stuff, and he got up off his throne for a second to like reach over and grab something, and went to sit back down, and it was missing. And he was like, "What the heck?" Missing? He was like, "Did any of y'all take it?" And they're like, "No, we've been in here the whole time. Like, where would we put it?" They looked everywhere in the house, couldn't find it. And so then I think it was like 2 or 3 years later, they were moving from that house.
Mm-hmm.
And more chills, baby. They were moving from that house, and so they packed everything up, and they're now getting to the attic and getting everything out of the attic. And up in the attic, in like the very back. Ooh,
I don't think that's a guardian angel.
What was the throne? The drum stool sitting up in there.
Yeah, no, that's a no for me, dog.
And there's no way any of them and his bandmates would have time to like run up in the attic.
That's creepy. That's creepy. Yeah, I feel like
he had a booger.
Attics are creepy as it is. I found a life-size doll in our attic.
Heck
like
no.
3 or 4 years after we moved into the house, right? I've been up in the attic 100 times. And
the current house you're in?
The current house. And people listening don't know this, but the previous owner died in the house, right? Like,
oh yeah,
in our
you were
house,
telling
right?
me about that.
We didn't find out until after we moved in, which that's always fun. And so like a year ago, I go up in the attic and I'm putting some stuff away, and I look over, and bro, I see like human feet coming out of the insulation, like on the bottom, and I freak out. I'm like, oh my God. And I get closer, and it's one of those life-size dolls face down in the insulation, just
taking
chilling, bro. I haven't touched it. I haven't moved it. She's still there.
Getting a fiberglass nap.
That's a no for me. And last time I went in, she was sitting up. I don't know who moved her. Wasn't me. So I just
you're joking.
Yeah, I'm joking about that. But she's still in the same position that I left her, because
that's good.
Yeah, whoever flipped the house, dude, those guys knew what was up, because they extended the roof, so I know they saw her. Like, it's just it's creepy, trying to give me a heart attack.
So Matt, what is one of your favorite, or just one of the ones you wanted to talk about, cryptid?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone gravitates towards like Bigfoot stories. I don't have any Bigfoot stories personally. I think it would be dope. I have more ghost stories, than cryptid stories, but I've always been really fascinated with the idea of like Bigfoot, and I think it's kind of played out now, and people are kind of either like really into it, or they're just kind of like, nah, dude, I'm tired of hearing about Bigfoot's not real. Like, It's just kind of like there's reality shows about it. Rob Lowe had a show about it. It's
Hunting
like,
Bigfoot.
yeah,
It's just a bunch of
it's
grown
like-
men going out in the woods and be like, oh,
yeah, basically, and
whacking
you know,
trees with sticks.
yeah, and there's no, I mean, there's just no evidence. Those shows are all, it's like Ancient Aliens, basically, like
Aliens.
right. But the Loch Ness Monster was probably the first like cryptid that piqued my interest as a kid.
Did you ever watch that Water Horse movie?
Mm-mm.
What?
I don't think so.
You've never seen
I know what you're talking about.
Water
but
Horse
I don't
movie?
think I've seen it now.
That's a good one, dude.
Really?
You should watch that one with the girls.
Yeah, I know. Like Apple just came out with this series about like the Loch Ness Monster,
Whaling.
the serpent
Loch
of
Ness.
something, the Essex serpent. But which Tom Hiddleston's in, so I haven't given it a shot, so I don't know if it's good. But I do know, as a kid, it just fascinated me to no end that there could be this like dinosaur out there. Oh, I have seen that. Yeah, I haven't watched the movie, but I've seen the trailer and like
Yeah.
I know the
pretty good.
premise. But yeah, like the idea that something could be out there that no one knows about, and it's super dope. So I'm gonna have to watch the movie. But like with Nessie, I think the first sighting of the Loch Ness Monster was like in the 500s AD. Like it was a long time ago. And then since then there's just been more and more like sightings of this thing, and yeah, so it says like 565 AD was the very first sighting, right? Saint Columba is said to have seen the creature in the water, and since then there's been like, I mean, so many sightings. People have seen the Loch Ness Monster, but still the existence has never been proven. A lot of people think it might be like a plesiosaur or like some ancient dino, marine dino, which I totally think is plausible. God, we don't know what's in the ocean. Like, we know less about the ocean than we do about space at this point. So there's no telling what's down there. So I think it's definitely plausible that it could be. As it pertains to like all of these stories, though, Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, the Loch Ness Monster, the Wendigo.
Yeti, I called you, but you ran to the forest.
I don't know what that is, but I'm digging it.
You never seen that?
No.
Oh, that's a good one.
No, I'm digging it though. I think there's truth to it though. I think there's truth to all of it. Otherwise, like, and yeah, like our minds can play tricks on us, but when you have so many people claiming like on their life that they've seen, Bigfoot or the Mothman or a Wendigo, or and you have like that dating back centuries with the Native American cultures. There's got to be truth to it in some way, shape, or form. And there's so much about the world we don't understand. Whether any way you slice it. We Christian folk like to be certain about things, but I feel like that's one of our flaws, is that there's a whole lot of mystery to this thing called life that we still don't get, and I think just going into it with like kind of open eyes but I mean it's super fascinating to me. Like I'd be down for like a Bigfoot hunt, go to like a spot and just see what happens.
Like snipe hunting.
Yeah, snipe hunting. Yeah, 100%.
That's another cryptid, I guess.
Yeah.
Little frog, pig creatures that run around in the woods that you can only hunt at night with no flashlights.
Yeah,
And
that's a no
for
for me.
If they bite you, you get a hairy spot. You get a snipe bite.
Why would anyone want to do that, though? That's
To
terrifying.
freaking scare people. You just go out in the woods and be like, let's go snipe hunting.
Yeah.
And you're just running around in the woods with no flashlights,
Nah, man.
screaming. And I've known a couple kids that have snipe bites. They
So-
just got like a little patch of hair in like weird spots.
That's creepy. Is that why I have that patch of hair on my back?
Is it like just like one random spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a snipe bite.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, I convinced a kid at camp one year that he had this disease called Djibouti, where
Djibouti.
his butt hair would continuously grow without stopping unless he bathed in like a tub of vinegar and baby powder and all this other random concoction. The kid believed me, went to the office to ask
For some vinegar.
the lady who ran the camp, and she confirmed the story that he may in fact have Djibouti. It was the best Christian camp ever, and never saw that kid again. Last I heard, he was in therapy, but there you go. But one creature that I think kind of fits in the cryptid wheelhouse, and something that you may have some strong opinions about, and I've heard several people of late in the news, talking about the UFO thing and, aliens, which,
Aliens.
hey, I mean, I'm on the alien train. I think I'm down to see whatever happens, but there's a group of people that they think they know the answer to this. They think
Well,
that
this is getting into conspiracy theory territory. 'Cause-
I just want to get your take on it because it kind of fits in the Nephilim, right?
Yeah, I can give hopefully a stone in a nutshell of what I think about all that.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, you brought it up. Why don't you give some sauce?
So I mean,
to the-
obviously, there's a lot going on in the news lately with UAPs, UFOs, aliens landing in Vegas, and something crashing from the sky. There's recently a whistleblower.
we want to play lotto machines.
Right. There's a whistleblower that came out in
Blew a whistle.
from the he blew his whistle. But worked for the Pentagon. Claims that we have these crafts that were reverse engineering. That when he went in the craft, it distorted time or something like crazy space and time. Like it was a football field's length inside, but it was like pretty relatively small, like on the outside.
Yeah, it was like the size of a large bus or something, and
Right,
the
yeah.
inside was the size of a football
Of a
field.
football field. Crazy, right?
Yeah,
And obviously,
That's some
people.
TARDIS
I mean,
stuff.
we've been hearing UFO stuff for years. My whole life, your whole life, dating back to the 50s. There's a big thing. The
what's
Roswell
the
thing.
newest terminology?
UAP. So they changed it from UFO to UAP, which was unidentified aerial phenomenon.
No, the next one after
But
that.
they just changed it
Yeah.
like a couple of weeks ago to unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Yeah.
So like, apparently,
'Cause they're coming out the
They're coming
water.
out of the water. Yeah, I mean David Fravor, the pilot that a few years ago had like the Tic Tac encounter.
Mhm.
I mean that they were claiming that
Fresh breath.
they were watching these things coming. They were. Wow.
They saw these things and they got fresh breath.
They got fresh breath.
Yeah.
No, but like not only was the thing mimicking his move before he would make it, it knew where his like set point on his radar was, like when the mission was over or whatever. Like also they had observed these same crafts coming out of the water and going up to 80,000 feet, which is like edge of the stratosphere, like edge of space, within a second, going from 80,000 feet to 1 foot, like at the sea level. And they've seen things coming out of the water that are like not breaking the surface of the water, and so they changed it to I don't know if it was NASA or if
like
it
an
was the
Olympic
Pentagon,
diver.
but yeah, they changed it from aerial phenomenon to now it's anomalous. Any anomaly, anything that we can't explain, kind of fits under this broad umbrella term, which I don't know if
Yeah,
it's a
I
good
feel
thing.
that's kind of lame.
It's not a good thing, because I feel like we need to differentiate
What if they're not aliens, but they're just like
us from the future.
mer people?
Yo, maybe it's the
Like
Atlanteans.
Atlanteans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just. Yeah, I mean, who knows? But that's the thing. We don't know. God, we don't know anything about the ocean.
Atlantis.
Again, proving my point. We don't know anything about what's underwater. Like, we really don't. There could be a whole nother species down there. Who
Yeah.
knows? But anyway, it's in the news right now. It's been in the news really since like the middle of 2020, 2021, where like this UFO stuff starts kind of being more prevalent. The Pentagon admits like, yeah, we've got a program that's been studying these things. We've explained 2 out of the 400 sightings that we have on record. And then like the last several weeks, you have something crash land in Vegas. You have a family that claims that they've seen 8 to 10 foot creatures in their backyard. Now they're gone. No one knows where the family is.
Since you've been gone,
Yeah.
you've been playing with the tall boys.
Yeah. So who knows? Who knows what it is? But, you know, a lot of people have opinions. Aliens. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's aliens. It could all be a government cover up. For all I know, the government definitely knows things that they're not telling us. It could be a disinformation campaign. It could be American technology or something like that. But there is a small faction of people that think they've got it figured out, and I'm on the fence. I'm not in this group of people. I'm open to the idea of aliens. I'm open to pretty much anything. The universe is a huge place. We don't know what's out there. But a lot of people thinking it's the Nephilim. Could be the Nephilim.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Genesis 6 verse 4, right, references the Nephilim, that these angels came to earth and interbred, made children with human women, and their offspring are called the Nephilim, which
Weren't they considered like They were considered immortal, and there's lore about them being buried and chained up in the depths of the earth.
well, that's in the Bible too. I mean, that's
Yeah.
in Jude. You know, they reference that the angels who came down like are now in chains, like in these pits and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Chained up cryptids.
basically the translation I want to say is like the mighty men of valor, like these giants. They were like the giants kind of potentially, which 8 to 10 foot's pretty tall, you know?
Yeah,
Who knows?
I'm freaking 5'9". That's like twice my size.
So, you know, who really knows? But there are a group of people
That
think, hey, these aren't aliens. These aren't aliens, guys. That's not Bigfoot. That's not a giant you're seeing. That's not the Mothman. These are all Nephilim. It's been there the whole time. It's right in front of us. I wouldn't classify myself in that category, but I'm open to whatever, you know. I'm not saying it's not them, but I'm not saying it's them. But
Yeah.
you know, my brother is on that bandwagon. He's
on a wagon.
He's on a wagon to the crazy house. I had a good conversation with my brother about this. It was interesting because that's what his thoughts are. It's like, oh yeah, it's like the Nephilim, right? You know, we know you have friends. I'm sure that I think you're kind of leaning towards that maybe.
Yeah.
On a lot of this is like you think it's like could be.
I don't think it's real. It's extraterrestrial in the fact that it's spiritual
not
in nature.
earth. Yeah, not earthly.
Yeah.
Extraterrestrial.
But I don't think it's like there's Planet Gweepgorp and the Hoobity Boobidoos came here because they were like, let's check out these human guys.
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take their water. But we saw how that worked out in Signs.
Or if it's signs, they're allergic to
They're
it.
allergic to water.
Why is it spicy?
It burns!
It's like, why aren't you finishing your glasses of water? I don't know. And then in the end, he's like, oh, she wasn't drinking her water because she was telling us we needed to dump water on it.
Save Macaulay Culkin's brother from certain death and abduction.
Swing for the lights. Or whatever he tells
Swing
them.
for the fence.
Swing for the
Yeah,
fences.
what was his name? It was Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, he beats the doof out of him with the
Oh,
bat.
great movie, M. Night. That was
Anyways.
probably your best. Yeah, but anyway, so like Nephilim, I know you're kind of leaning towards that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think, again, I said this like there's a whole lot about the universe, the way reality actually is that we don't know. We have assumptions, we have opinions, but reality is what it is. And you know, again with like the cryptid thing and Bigfoot and all of this, who knows, the Nephilim, whatever it may be, aliens, whatever. How do we know it's not, you know, something that's here that we can't see, you know? If you want to get biblical with it, like heaven and earth used to be united. It was one thing because of
Homogeneous.
what happened in Genesis. Like there's a separation, and so like the Bible is like the story where at the end of time, heaven and earth get reunited, right? How do we know that whatever people are seeing haven't been there the whole time? That we're just peeling like through the veil, that we can see what's here but not here, not what we can perceive with our senses, you know.
Eyes
So
to see and ears to hear, baby.
yeah, and I'm not saying that's what I think, but you think that potentially.
You think it's Planet Gweep Corp?
No, I don't. I don't know what I think. I'm open to anything. I'm down. I think it's cool. Like it's interesting to me, but I'd be open. I don't think aliens rules out, like breaks my faith by any means. Like I feel like if anything, it expands it. You know, if it ends up being from another planet or universe or whatever, I feel like that is, I mean, more awe-inspiring for me than if it were alien or angels or Nephilim or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is, but
what the I'm blue the what? You haven't heard that?
so what is it?
I'm blue.
I don't know.
Now
I
listen up, here's the story about a little dude, and then he lives in a blue house or something. You never heard that?
No, I never heard that.
What?
Never did.
Well,
I've heard Blue's
You know
Clues.
what you're about to hear?
Blue's Clues.
Not that.
Oh.
You're about to hear an ad, baby. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Everybody get hot, hot, hot.
Hey, man.
What's up?
I need some custom woodworking done. I need some leather work and potentially some metal fab. You know anyone that can help me with that?
I have just the person for you. He is Oak Nut Workshop. He makes all sorts of cool stuff. Check him out on oaknutworkshop.com or Oak Nut Workshop on social media. That is OAKNUT Workshop. I am running low on energy. What can help me, Matt?
Well, we got just the thing for you, Beep Borp. Grateful Coffee Co. is great company, sources great coffee. It can it can definitely hit the spot for you, Beep Borp.
Will it recharge my batteries?
Oh, it will. It will do more than that. It'll actually change the world because we use our profit pouring back into Guatemala. We partner with nonprofits and we build communities. We send kids to school. It's a lot of fun. You get to help when you buy a bag of coffee. So grateful.coffee on social media and the web. Grateful.coffee. You got that, Beep Borp?
I think so. Let me try some. I am feeling energized. Thank you.
There you have it, folks.
Back to the show. All right. So my opinion on the whole UFO alien thing. So actually, there was a big. Did you see that press conference thing recently? That was put together, and it has a bunch of whistleblowers and other scientist folks exposing different documents and stuff, kind of explaining what the UFO stuff is. Did you see that? So I think what they exposed aligns with what I've thought for a long time about UFOs and UAPs and whatever the frick you want to call them. That it is technology developed by humans, but it is with the help of the Nephilim type folk.
Ooh.
Because in this conference, and there's been other people say they've been in different government facilities and stuff like that, and they've gone to these top secret levels and junk, and they go in there, and there's these massive people or beings in like lab coats and junk working alongside like normal humans, working on different what appears to be levitating giant blocks of smooth granite that shouldn't be able to float, and they're just kind of pushing them around like it's nothing. And
Trippy.
in this press conference, they have different depictions and like accurate drawings of what the UFOs are. And like the one that they showed was the triangle looking one. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have seen
And
it.
how it's actually made up of multiple blocks and segments, and there's these little spindly things on the bottom that do the whatever the science is to make it like zip around and do all that junk. And also in this conference, they talked about how the government purposely made fake aliens to trick people, where they have these
I have heard that, yeah.
extremely what's the word? Oh god.
Brain fart.
What is it? Oh, come on. Intricate. Extremely
great.
intricate
Glad you found it.
and complicated robots, basically, with flesh suits to look like, tall, big-eyed green men that are able to walk and everything. And there's even some documentation about like people who have been quote-unquote abducted by these creatures, and then they're kind of delirious in a bright white room, and they said they got experimented on and stuff like that. There's actually documentation to show that like
It's
they
just
basically
LSD, guys.
yeah, they got roofied. And then they were taken back to like a CIA facility or
That's
whatever.
like MK Ultra, dude. That's like actual fact that happened.
And MK Ultra definitely happened, and they were messing with people's brains with all sorts of drugs.
Yeah.
So how far-fetched is it to say, oh, they made a fake alien and drugged people?
So on the fake alien thing, in the 50s, the Roswell crash happened. Like it's an actual crash that happened in New Mexico. It's documented. Like you can find the documents for the first responders for that. How creepy it was. Like they didn't know what was going on. All these other governments, entities show up as well, but they recovered bodies from the crash supposedly in these documents. But basically it came out. This was a few years ago. I heard someone on Rogan was talking about it, but like there were like younger people that they pulled out that some Russian guy sewed like longer ears and like basically did these like bodily adjustments to make them look alien because it was one of their crafts or something that ended up crashing. And so like, but they had like the bigger ears, bigger eyes, like the nose was like abnormal. And so like they pulled these like alien looking beings from it. So the people there, they didn't know that they were just humans that had been like
chopped up.
Exactly. But yeah, that like came out a few years ago. Like someone from Russia like kind of blew the whistle on it. But
and the other thing about like these Nephilim working with these super top secret scientific groups and stuff, there's multiple reports of during Afghanistan that come from soldiers that said that in certain areas they were put on post to guard what they called fallen angels, which they're literally like chained up in these like really weird facilities and stuff, and our job was just to stand out there and guard them.
Yeah, that's creepy, man. It's creepy.
Yep.
Who knows, man? Like I said, I've heard both sides of the stories. You know, I'm open to whatever. Like, here's the thing. We don't know anything about anything. We think we do. That's the good thing about humans.
Look at
Especially
the pyramids.
Oh, don't even get me started on the pyramids, bro.
Let's stick on cryptid.
We're gonna.
territory
We need
here.
this in a different episode because I got a lot of takes on the pyramids, serpent mounds. We could do a whole episode on that. The flood.
Well, I got a cryptid that goes in line with old Nessie.
All right,
Loch
let's
Ness.
hear it.
Have you ever heard of Mokele Membe?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, like the brontosaurus looking thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Mokele, I'm butchering this. Mokele Membe. Anyways.
The M is silent.
Mokele Bembe?
Yeah.
Okay, Mokele Bembe. We'll say that. So this comes from the Republic of the Congo in the wetlands, the swampy lands, which makes sense that this brontosaurus, or they also think it was a, some people say it might be a, way to go. There it is. Sauropod dinosaur,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's described as having a amphibious-like animal, as in meaning, goes around in the water and stuff, has a bulky body, a long neck, a long tail, and a small head. And there's depictions of it, and it looks like your classic long-necked dinosaur. It's also described as being, like, super temperamental and, like, very territorial.
Yeah.
But it would make sense for a natural habitat of, a long-necked dinosaur to be, in swampy land where it can still walk but reach up and grab vegetation and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
and the reason we don't have any, like, pictures and stuff of it or whatever is because where this is at is extremely hard to get to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
I mean, gosh, like Africa's huge.
yeah,
Huge.
huge.
Namibia, for example, has like the
Namibia?
most unexplored mass of land anywhere in the world. That we just haven't even, been on. So I mean, who knows? Like, I just think if there was some sort of dinosaur thing out there, I mean, it makes sense that it would be on the African continent.
It's also said that it's known by most indigenous peoples of the Western Congo Basin. So it's not like this is a one-off thing. Like, everybody knows, like, don't freaking mess with this thing.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that one's pretty cool because if they actually find it, it completely dismantles the dinosaur timeline and when dinosaurs were quote unquote supposed to exist in the world or whatever.
Right.
I think there's still plenty of them out there. They're in either extremely isolated areas or like very specific geographical places where there's a greater pocket of pressure based off of the atmosphere in those environments.
Right. Yeah, I think again, who knows really, but especially when you look at like water dinosaurs, like I totally buy, like that's why I think the Loch Ness Monster is like a real thing. I feel like why wouldn't this be, who knows? Megalodon, that's like a prehistoric thing. I went to a conference as a kid. I was a homeschooler. Surprise, I know. But
Megalodon conference?
It was a dinosaur conference, right? About how in the Congo, it was talking about this dino, and there was like reportings. They had audio samples from these African tribes that explorers had gone, like, because they had heard stories or whatever and doing their explorations in Africa, and then there was some in South America, came back with these like recordings of these, like, I mean, what Jurassic Park thinks dinosaur sounds like.
That's pretty good.
I know, right? Yeah. But like, I don't know, that it was super interesting as a kid because I was a nerd and I was super into dinos, but I don't know, man. That I would. Again, I think there's validity to most of these stories in some capacity because they had to get their start somewhere. And if more than just, if everyone is saying like the same thing, even if 60% of them are lying,
This is
40%
saying,
are telling the truth.
yeah, this is saying that even there's accounts as recent as 1808 when missionaries were there, and it says the missionaries observed passing along the forest the trail of an animal which had not seen, but which must have been monstrous. The marks of the claws were noted on the ground, and these formed a print about 3 feet in circumference.
Wow.
An arrangement of impressions indicated the animal was walking, not running. The distance between the footprints measured 7 to 8 feet.
Wow.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's huge.
So that's another cool one because that kind of leads into the whole dinosaur discussion, which we could even have. We might have an
we could
episode
do an
just
episode
on
on dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
You know, Aaron didn't think that dinosaurs were real until a few years ago. She was like, because we were talking about, I don't know what we were. I was like, I said
It's
something
something
about
the atheists made up.
Honestly, we were talking. I said something about dinosaurs, and she was like, "Wait, dinosaurs weren't real, right? That was just like the movie." I was like, "No, they're 100% real."
Oh man!
So
I met a freaking dude. So one time I went to youth group with a buddy. It was his youth group, and the way they did it is at a certain point there was 6 groups, and we broke off with each a leader or whatever, and somehow we were talking about dinosaurs, and the leader dude was like, "Yeah, I don't think dinosaurs ever existed. I think they're made up." And I was like, "What about in Job?"
yeah, the
I looked up
Leviathan,
the passage.
behemoth.
Yeah, the behemoth where it's talks about the big tail and stuff. He was like, "Oh yeah, that was an elephant." And I was like,
Have you ever seen an elephant's tail?
I was like, "Have you ever seen an elephant's tail?" He was like, "It would be easy for a dude to make some bones and bury them and come back a couple years later and be like, oh look, I found something."
Yeah, I made some bones.
I was like, "Dude, you're dumb."
well, yeah, I've heard the argument that
I was like,
It's-
"What about the footprints?
Right.
In rock?" I was like, "Did someone go
next to human footprints,
Yeah.
that are preserved?" Yeah,
in super isolated areas?" I was like, "What is this?" Oh, I have another kind of dinosaur cryptid, which was one of the first ones I wanted to talk about that is actually something I planned on talking about.
your dad just texted us about he must have just listened to the last episode.
What? Does he not think we're not done yet?
I don't know.
What did he say?
It's about the TV studio, the PTL.
Oh, what about it?
Some scandal that happened.
Scandalous.
Morning Star, the Rick Joyner.
Yeah, wait.
Wow, that's dope. I'm gonna read that in a second, but that's cool, dude. Yeah, he sent a whole thing about. Wow, that's dope. I'm gonna have to read that. We'll have to touch that on the next episode.
Next episode,
Yeah,
we'll do a
we'll-
Morning Star update.
Yeah, update on Morning Star.
Okay, so this is the Van Meter Visitor.
All right, let's hear it.
As the creature is often referred to, is a creature steeped in mystery and local folklore. The story begins in the small town of Van Meter, Iowa, also known as Iowa.
Iowa?
Iowa? How do you say it?
Iowa?
Iowa?
I don't know.
Iowa.
That one.
Iowa.
Iowa. I would-
In
I would.
1903. So this is,
Recent history.
just about
100 years.
100-ish years ago, okay? Over the course of several nights in October, respected members of the community reported encounters with a strange winged creature. The creature was described as having large bat-like wings and the ability to emit a foul stench. He was spraying booty stank all
he
over
was
the place.
pooting on them.
He's just drive-by crop dusting. Fly-by crop dusting.
Yeah.
Maybe this is where crop dusting got started. The Van Meter critter.
Crop dusting. It was in Iowa.
Perhaps the most striking feature of this creature was its ability to shoot beams of bright light from its forehead.
Yeah, I feel like this is the one I was telling you about that my buddy had an encounter with.
Okay, yeah, let me
Yeah.
keep going. The creature was not merely sighted, but was reported to have terrorized some of the residents. Despite the apparent fear and panic it caused, attempts to shoot or otherwise harm the creature seemed to have no effect. This led to a growing sense of fear and unease in the town, as the creature appeared immune to their efforts to defend themselves. The climax of the event came when a group of townsfolk, presumably fed up with the disturbances, pursued the creature to an abandoned coal mine on the outskirts of town. There, they reportedly encountered not one but two of these mysterious
Oh,
creatures.
snap.
As the group opened fire, both creatures turned and disappeared into the darkness of the mine. They were never seen or heard from again. Despite numerous attempts to explain or debunk the story of Van Meter visitor, it remains an endearing part of local folklore.
Fuzzy
The
wuzzy?
creature had become a subject of intrigue for encrypted enthusiasts and those interested in unexplained phenomenon.
Yeah.
But there are like depictions of it.
All right.
So this is, so this picture here, I think they like made a sculpture of what it like where it first showed up to kind of like honor the story of it.
That's crazy. Wow.
But then like this is some other depictions, which is basically just one of them flying dinosaur things.
Look, man. If I see a dude with some bat wings and a laser
But
beam
the
out of his
bright
head,
light was like, that's pretty interesting.
like out of his head,
Yeah,
yeah, that's trippy. I don't. It was like vision, but
he was
before vision.
crop dusting and strobe lighting at the same time.
He was just down to party, bro. He was,
Stank party.
yeah.
Whoa,
just down to
whoa,
party.
whoa, whoa. Anyways, that one's pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, no. I had a friend who claims to have seen something similar back in the 90s, 80s or 90s. He described it very similar, but I think he said something about lasers out of the eyes instead of the forehead, or maybe I'm just remembering wrong, but he yeah, the wings, like the flying thing, just like chasing people. Like, he was also a crackhead, so I don't know how much of it is you can take as truth. But I mean, he swears up and down like he saw this thing and it like chased him through the woods. So I didn't argue with him, but I couldn't remember the name of what he said, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly like what he was describing. Like, it wasn't in Iowa, I think it was in Michigan. Where he was, but but very similar depiction. So, and I know the Mothman, like the Mothman legend, is very similar in the way that it looks, and it's like a humanoid with wings. Dude, I don't know. We could go all day on this, but I feel like we definitely need to revisit a podcast about
Dinosaurs.
dinos. We can do one on the Nephilim. I feel
Dinos and Nephilim.
that needs like a
Bundled
whole thing, yeah. And then our conspiracy one. I feel like we opened up a lot of doors here. We can close in other episodes, but it's definitely an interesting topic, man. The unexplained, you know.
Everything has a reason. Nothing is new under the sun.
There's nothing new under the sun. Good old Ecclesiastes. Kohelet. Kohelet, baby. He knew what was up. So
Right. So Matt, what's the main takeaway?
main takeaway:
Don't go into the woods.
don't go into the woods. Yeah. And if you do go into the woods, take your camera or something and actually get some footage so we can have some evidence of this stuff.
Oh,
It's,
have you heard about giving rocks with Bigfoots? Big feets? Bigfooties?
like they give you a rock?
Yeah, so apparently if you go to where there's Bigfoots, if you find a big flat rock, sometimes there'll be stuff on the top of it.
Oh.
And
you leave it there.
if you think there's Bigfootses there, you can put stuff on the rock. And sometime there's been stories of people doing this and starting like trading with the Bigfoots. And they'll go and they'll like put like a candy bar or like, some string, and then come back the next day and it's gone, and there's something there, like some cool rocks and stuff, or like
Wow.
twigs like broken in a pattern.
Just set up like a deer cam when you do it, so you can get some footage of this thing.
They would know
Make
it's
sure
there.
it's not homeless Joe walking up and
Homeless Joe.
snagging it.
Uncle Joe.
And leaving you
Walking
his
in the
dirty
woods.
underwear on the rock. That's no, that's cool. I feel like, I mean, we could really have a whole episode on Bigfoot too, maybe down the road, but there's so much to unpack with that, and so many different sightings and thoughts, and that's very similar to a Pete the Cat book that I read to the girls about Bigfoot.
I peed the cat.
Pete the Cat.
Oh, Pete the cat.
Pete the Cat. He's
I
he's a groovy little cat
poop
that
the
likes
cat.
to. No, he goes into the woods. His brother tells him about Bigfoot. He's terrified, but instead makes him a giant s'mores and leaves it on the picnic table for him. And Bigfoot comes and gets it, and now they're friends. Leaves him a note. So
That's pretty dope.
yeah, man. Anyway, yeah. Main takeaway: don't go into the woods, and get yourself lots of Blanky Time.
Lots and lots of Blanky Time.
Blanky Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cuddle up, listen to this podcast, light some candles.
yeah, rate and review us if you like it. If you don't, keep walking.
At this point, if you like it, you like it. Just
You like it?
give us some stars, give
Share
us some
the
thumbs
love.
ups.
Share the love.
Share the podcast. That'd be nice.
And send us your questions, because we want to talk about
Yes.
what you want to talk about.
Send us some questions.
So send us some questions. Send us some. I don't know where I was going. Send us your stuff.
Send us some. Yeah. Also, in our demographics, it says it's 99% American
Right.
and 1% German.
Hey.
I want to know who the German is.
Yo. Hey. We
Listen.
Show us some love from Germany. We're all about it. We love you.
The motherland,
Germany.
Deutschland. Come on, send us a message or something. Maybe it's someone using a VPN. Maybe, but come on, listen. I want to listen.
We want to know. We want to have you on the podcast.
I'm part German myself. Hit us up.
Yeah.
Tell us how it is in Deutschlandia.
Yeah. Tell us what's going on. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And all the love. Blanky Time Pod @gmail.com. Hit us up. Please send us your stuff, topic
Thank you,
ideas,
Lord.
discussion topics, whatever you want to hear. And we'd be down to talk about it
Yep.
on a future pod.
All right.
All right, bro. It's been fun. We should do this again.
Blanky.
Blanky out.
Yes. Always and forever. Blanky.